what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of TGC Unfiltered, my unscripted album review series. Now, I know at the time of recording, I have not brought over all of the episodes from the music channel to the main channel since I've started combining everything together again. I know, but I saw a post on YouTube, a community post talking about albums that hold up versus don't hold up 20 years later, since 2005 was 20 years ago. And of course, everyone in this thread was talking about Nickelback's All the Right Reasons. Now, this is a record that I'm very familiar with. My family had it when I was a kid growing up. I've heard the entire thing so many times over the years. But it's been a long time since I've heard it, and I'm like, okay, like I don't like Nickelback. I think they're overhated. They do genuinely have good songs, but overall, I don't like them. I have a big issue with a lot of Chad's writing. But I'm like, okay, does everyone saying it doesn't hold up? I mean, is that fair? Like, is it true? I don't know. So I'm thinking, yeah, let's go ahead and just do TGC Unfiltered, unscripted album review of Nickelback's All the Right Reasons 20 years later. So yeah, and that's all that I've got to say, so we're going to jump into it with the first song being the opening track, Follow You Home. Also, I will say right before we start Follow You Home, looking at the track list right now, the only song I actually don't remember off the top of my head is Someone That You're With, which is the penultimate song on the album. But yeah, so let's jump into Follow You Home. Oh god, just seeing the lyrics laid out in front of me, I'm like, yeah, this is already, like, back in my memory. Musically, sonically, this is fine. It's very, it's very 2005 butt rock, you know? It's very 2005 mainstream rock. But that's fine. But Chad Kruger, what are these lyrics, man? What are these fucking lyrics? You sound like a stalker. Like, lyrically, this just feels like it's trying to describe a toxic relationship on both sides. But it's definitely coming across as more toxic on one side here, and it's the guy saying that he'll still follow you home despite you making it clear you don't want him around. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, so, hang on, actually, I want to reference these lyrics as we're talking about Follow You Home. Okay, so, like I was saying during the song, you know, yeah, musically, sonically, it's very 2005 mainstream rock. It's very butt rock, and that's fine. That's fine. That's exactly what they're trying to do, and you know what? They did it. They accomplished it, and it's fine. It doesn't sound bad musically at all, and there are other aspects to it as well, it flows, for an opening track on this record, it flows very well. The vocal melody from Chad is totally fine and works with the song. Everything about this song works. But goddamn, Chad Kruger's lyrics here are just so fucking bad. And, that is what's always been my biggest sticking point for Nickelback as a whole, is he's just not a good lyricist, man. A lot of his songs are just dirty, gross, immature as hell, and, sometimes downright creepy. And, he has some standouts lyrically. Genuinely, for all that it's memed, I think Photograph is a totally fine song lyrically. I don't have an issue with it. But, yeah, and like I said, I get what he's trying to say here. It's very clearly about a two-way toxic relationship. Like, I get it, you know. But again, either him or, like, said protagonist of song, whatever, if it's not meant to be Chad, in this instance, it is the one that definitely looks worse here. Again, the the partner in this scenario is making it very clear that they do not want you around. And throughout all of these things, you're saying you'll still be around just to follow them home. Just to be around when they don't want you around. And, like, God, it's like a fucking stalker anthem, man. It's a fucking stalker anthem. What else do you want me to say here? But, like, overall, it's fine, I guess. Like, and my biggest thing is, I think once I get through Rockstar at the end of the album, I think the way I'm going to look at the album is kind of how I look at it right now, and that's, yeah, it's fine. It's overhated, and it's fine. But are there so many better examples of post-grungy mainstream rock from this era and before and after, you know? Are there better examples of that? Absolutely. I mean, for the issues I have with 3 Days Grace at this point, and even some of the issues I have with 1X, you know, if you want two records that are both considered post-grunge, goddammit, pick 1X. Do it, you know? Or even something that probably isn't post-grunge, but is lumped in with it. Phobia, for all the issues I have with that record. But Breaking Benjamin's Phobia, I think, also works as well. But yeah, I don't know. That's how I'm thinking. I'm probably just going to end up looking at the record as a whole at the end of this listen. It's fine, overhated, but it's not great either. But in saying all of that, what do I rank Follow You Home? To give those of you who have not seen an episode of this series before, I rank on, obviously, a 0 to 10 scale, and the way I do it is 0 is as close to being objectively bad as I think something can get, 10 is as close to perfect as I think something can get, and right in the middle, a 5 out of 10 is I'm indifferent towards it. Like, I don't think it's good, but I don't think it's bad either. So then anything above a 5 out of 10, the song has things I do like about it. And then anything below a 5 out of 10 is the song actually is starting to, like, have things I really don't like about it. And, like, I would never come back to it. Whereas I wouldn't come back to a 5 out of 10, but if it came on, I'm like, whatever, you know? So yeah, that's kind of like how I look at that. And Follow You Home, I mean, would I come back to it? No. Like I said, instrumentally, I think there's so many other examples of, like, this style of music done better. And lyrically, I'm like, oh god, what the fuck is wrong with you, Chad? But in saying that, I think, in saying that, I don't even want to give it a 5 out of 10. Honestly, I'm thinking this is well, no, I will give it a 5 out of 10 thinking about it, because in my 1X Unfiltered episode, I did give Riot, my least favorite song on 1X, a 5.5 out of 10, and there are actual things I like about that song. So, Follow You Home will get a 5 out of 10 from me. But after that, we do move on to the second song, Fight for All the Wrong Reasons. And if I sound sick, that's because I am coming off of being sick. But let's get into the second song, which I haven't heard in a very long time, so, yeah, here we go. This song flows, or sonically already feels like it fits perfectly with Follow You Home. I actually like the backing vocals and the harmonies here at the beginning. I won't immediately shit on the lyrics here, because, like, okay, I, for right now, they're better than Follow You Home. And it does go to show that my theory on what he was trying to talk about in Follow You Home with the lyrics is true. It's definitely about a toxic relationship. I Okay, so Fight for All the Wrong Reasons. What am I, like... So, okay, I think I will stick with what I said during the song, that lyrically, I think Chad did a better job on this song than Follow You Home. And, like, this song you know, like, Follow You Home basically flows in this song. Sonically, they're very similar. They play off of each other. They work together. And it's more the same instrumentally and sonically. And a lot of what I said for Follow You Home, I do also think for Fight for All the Wrong Reasons in that regard as well. I mean, I do like the backing vocals and the harmonies. I do like the bridge, you know, after the second part of the bridge, I should say. The part of the bridge that starts with, "You know I'm the best when I stick it on your chest," and it keeps going. Once we get past that and move to the second part of the bridge, I do like that with the repeated lines, as, like, the drummer's just going off in the back, into a strong final chorus, and the chorus has a solid and memorable vocal melody from Chad. Again, I think it works. And clearly, again, it's the whole theme right now of the first two songs, and probably the whole album, is definitely about a toxic relationship, of course. And how, like, it didn't matter. And talking about how, like, oh, hey, like, the sex was really great, but we're here for the wrong reasons, etc., etc. And again, everything that could be said here, everything that could be done here, both musically and lyrically, has been done better. But it's fine. It is fine for sure. But God, this first part of the bridge, like, I feel dirty even just thinking about reading this, but I feel like I have to give context here. I'll put it on the screen, future me. The lines, "You know I'm the best when I stick it on your chest. I know you don't care. I can stick it anywhere. On the bus, it's the best. When I blow it on your chest, I know you don't care. I can shove it anywhere." Like, this whole, like, first part of the bridge is literally just him talking about sticking his dick in this woman literally anywhere. Like, what the fuck? Why would you write this? Why would you write this? What is wrong with you? Why would you write this? What is wrong with you? But outside of that, I think the song is fine. How do I rate it? God, I don't know. I guess I'll give it a 5.5 out of 10, because, again, there are things I do actually like about this song. But, no, I'm gonna veto that. I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10. I think it's also 5 out of 10. Same with Follow You Home. Like, at this point, if it came on, I'm not really gonna care. I'm just indifferent towards it. And again, thinking back to the other episodes of this series and other songs that I've rated similarly, I think both of those have to be below. I think both of these songs have to be below those other songs with a similar rating from me. So yeah. But if I remember right, the next song is the biggest hit from this album. It is the biggest hit, right? No, it's not, actually. Rockstar, I did not realize, is bigger than Photograph. But, I just said it. The next song, track 3, is Photograph. So, we will move to that right away. Let's do that. And that was track 3, Photograph. And yeah, you know, I don't care what anyone says. I don't care about the memes. I genuinely like the song, you know. I think it is good. It's a hit for a reason, and I think this is a perfect example that Nickelback does have some merit. Some merit in the music world, and like I think this shows that, yeah, Nickelback has some merit in the music world, and like this shows that Chad Kroeger can write good songs, you know? Genuinely. And like for this song, they move away from like the heavier post-grungy music and instrumentals of the first 2 songs, and they write a ballad, and like I think they kill it, honestly. And like you get a chance to move away from like the toxicity lyrically in the first 2 songs, and it's about our protagonist. And it's about our protagonist of the album just getting a chance to like think back to how things were and reminisce a little bit and remember like when they were younger. And yeah, like I said, I think it's genuinely a very good ballad. I think it works really well, and I do like the song. I don't have issues with it. Like, I'm not gonna rate it as highly as you may think I am based on that assessment, though, because I do think, number one, it could be better. While I don't have anything I actively dislike about the way it is, I do think it can be better, and I know it can be better. And there is a cover of this song that I think easily exceeds this original version of the song. That cover, of course, being by Alex Goot and Against the Current on the Alex Goot and Friends Volume 3 covers album. And it's so good. It's such a good cover. I love that cover so much. They add way more like backing vocals and harmonies. You have 2 very distinct vocalists who sound great. You get a guitar solo that really helps enhance the song. And yeah, they just take the song and improve it in every way. But the original is still good. It's still a good ballad, for sure. And if I'm sticking with Follow You Home and Fight for All the Wrong Reasons being 5 out of 10 on my scale, then Photograph, I think, genuinely, I mean, I do like it, so it's higher than a 5 out of 10 to me, for sure. Is it a perfect song? No. I've already alluded to that. So I'm not going to give it a 10, I'm not going to give it a 9, but it is higher than a 5. I'm thinking Photograph, the original version by Nickelback here, I think it's a 7 out of 10. It's a genuinely good song that could be better, 7 out of 10. I already know we move on to a song that I've never liked from this band, even going back to when I was a kid, listening to this album way too much. And that is track number 4, Animals. Animals. You know, listening to this song again for the very first time in a long time, let me tell you, it is very, very obvious that this motherfucker would go on to pin the song Porn Star Dancin'. And look, okay. Somehow I'm less creeped out by this song. I think partly because the way he's at least telling the story of this song is that it's very consensual. And look, I so like at least there's that, but it's a song that's quite literally about having sex while driving, having sex in a car, and like having sex in a car, having sex while driving, getting ahead while you're driving. Like and like did we need this? I mean, clearly they did need this, because I mean it's got 292 million plays on Spotify alone, and that's just on Spotify alone. It's not counting how many people bought the album when it came out in 2005, especially since the album sold very, very well. So yeah, so I mean, what the fuck do I know? Like, but again, lyrically, I don't think it's as bad lyrically as the first two. But I still don't like it. Instrumentally, it doesn't do a lot for me either. I think the first three are all easily more interesting instrumentally, with Photograph actually being like the most interesting instrumentally. I mean, that's probably to expect it being a ballad. There's just more going on, but yeah. I will say, to give any sort of praise here, I actually do like the lines about the girl's dad finding them, as they try to like somehow get out of this sticky situation. Yeah, I do kind of like that line. That is kind of funny. But regardless, no, that is still easily my least favorite to this point. So no. We will move on, but first I do have to give it a rating, and if it's my least favorite, that means I like it less than Follow You Home and Fight for All the Wrong Reasons. I'm not going to be too harsh comparatively, though. I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 10. Which I think in all of the album reviews I've done, I think that's the lowest I've given any one song, so I'll say that. But, yeah, it's whatever. God. Let's move on. The next song is Savin Me, which is a song I remember genuinely liking, so we'll move to that. And that's Savin Me. And you know what? Right away, yeah, I still like that song. I think it's actually better than Photograph. I would say it's not as, like, accessible as Photograph, but I think it's still very accessible. I think it works. I like the strings in the background. I like the guitar solo. I think, again, kind of like Photograph, Chad's actually trying to, like, say something that could be, like, useful, to someone. He's trying to actually say something that's not, oh, hey, I'm a total fucking dude bro that just wants to have sex, And yeah, and again, I think it works. Could it be better? Absolutely. But again, I think it works, And if you take this into account literally being like after animals on the track list, and who knows, maybe the events of animals led to maybe our protagonist here getting locked away in prison, and he's asking for, like, this person he clearly loves that, he was having sex with in animals, or anyone that he happens to be close with, to come save him. Like, help him, deal with this, get out of prison, And yeah, I think it definitely works, and it can definitely be applied in multiple scenarios. It can definitely help people, and I know it has. And yeah, I think overall it's a very good song. I think it works, and I'm going to give this one easily. I was thinking 8 out of 10. Do I really like it that much more than Photograph, though? Probably not. I'll give it a 7.5. I think that's still fair. I think it is easily the best song to this point, though, for sure. And next up is another song that is a softer ballad. It is a hit song from the record, Far Away. Now, this is one for me that I never really cared for as a kid either. This one, like, I've always been a sucker for ballads, but this one never really stood out to me one way or the other. So, we'll check it out now, 20 years removed from the release of the album. So, yeah. Oh, God. That opening guitar just hit me like a ton of bricks. So, with Far Away, the only thing I can really say is it's cheesy. It's a cheesy love song. But it's fine. I definitely don't get the hate that I've heard from a lot of people about this song. Like, is it their strongest? No. But it's certainly not the weakest, not on this album anyway. It's fine. It's a cheesy love song. Some people will love it, some people won't like it. It's just the way it is. But it's fine. I will say, I do think that if the instrumental, if the music behind this song was given to literally any other band, I think people would think about that in a completely different way. And it would be, like, absolutely universally praised. But regardless, yeah, I think it's fine, and I don't have much else to say. What do I rate it? I was actually thinking about this. I really was thinking about this just while listening, and I was thinking either a 6 or a 6.5, and I'll give it a 6 out of 10. A point less than Photograph, I think, yeah, it works. I do think it's better than Animals, Fight for All the Wrong Reasons, and Follow You Home, but it's nowhere near as good as Savin Me or Photograph, so yeah, I think a 6 out of 10 works. But then we move on to track 7, and off the top of my head, I don't remember. Next Contestant. I know that we are absolutely out of ballad territory for the next 2 songs. And Next Contestant, I didn't really like very much as a kid. Like, this one I remember as a kid, like, actually making me uncomfortable. So we will jump into Next Contestant. I don't really know what to think about this song now. Like, Next Contestant, on one hand, I can at least appreciate that our protagonist in this song isn't at least, like, the protagonist, he's not blaming his partner for what they're wearing, more just blaming other people for constantly trying to get with her and trying to, like, I don't know if they're necessarily trying to, well, no, I mean, I guess to be fair, well, I was gonna say, like, to be fair, it is kind of implying that all these people are trying to, like, get with her and, like, kind of, like, sexually harass her. It's a song that, like, definitely I really didn't like as a kid, and, like, I'm indifferent towards it. Like, I don't particularly like it, but I don't dislike it either. Again, and like I said, I can appreciate lyrically that, again, at the very least, the protagonist here, like I said, isn't just up and blaming said partner for what she's wearing. I can appreciate that, you know? And the blame in the song is definitely being pinned on everyone else trying to hit on her and flirt with her and trying to, like, basically sexually harass her. I mean, I don't think writing a song that's basically saying you're going to assault anyone who potentially hits on and flirts with your girlfriend, maybe that's not the move, but You know what? It's fine. I was again. This is another one I was actually thinking rating wise before the song ended, and I think I will actually give it a 5.5 out of 10. I think it's slightly better than the opening 2 tracks, but still fairly weaker than a lot of the other stuff before it. But then after that, we have Side of a Bullet. You know, I never remembered having an issue with this song as a kid, and I still don't. And I think, you know what, I genuinely have to commend Chad Kroeger for the lyrics on this song. Like, it's very blunt, there's no subtlety whatsoever, but there doesn't need to be. He paints the picture very well immediately. Saying Uncle Sam taught him to shoot maybe a little too well. Presumably, the guy he's singing about in this song that committed murder was in the military. And dude just runs up somewhere in the middle of everyone, just pulls the trigger and takes somebody's life. Just murder someone right then and there. And the song basically implies here that it was in cold blood. And yeah, it works, you know. I don't have an issue with this. I don't love the way the guitar sounds in this song, especially in the solo. It's one of very few times where, for me specifically, I don't like the way a solo sounds. It just, the guitar tone on the solo, I think it's just weird. It sounds like really, like, screechy almost, and I don't like that. But outside of that, I really don't have an issue with this song, and it's a song that's not a ballad. It's heavier and post-grungy, and I think it works, genuinely. So yeah, genuinely, good job on this song, guys. I really don't have an issue. In saying that, rating-wise, do I like it personally as much as Photograph or Savin Me? No. But if I gave Far Away a 6 out of 10, I'll give Side of a Bullet easily a 6.5 out of 10. For sure. And then after that, we move on to track number 9, another ballad, If Everyone Cared. So, If Everyone Cared, it's another ballad, and it's fine. I think, again, honestly, they did pretty well with it. It's a better ballad than Far Away, but I don't think it's better than Photograph or Savin Me in that vibe. But I think it works, and If Everyone Cared actually reminds me of something that... It reminds me of a song that, like, Shinedown would do and basically do better just a few years later on The Sound of Madness. But in that regard, I think it works. And as The Sound of Madness was an album that I revisited for the first time in a long time last year, yeah, I think that works. That works for me pretty well. Again, I don't think it's as strong as Photograph or as interesting as Savin Me, but there's a bunch of things I do think are well executed there. It has promise, even if it is, albeit a bit flawed in execution. So in saying that, I think this is the time where I give it an equal rating to Side of a Bullet at a 6.5 out of 10. I like both equally for different reasons, but I like both equally. So yeah, that works for me, and we move on to track 10, the penultimate song, Someone That You're With. And now remember, this was the one song I said at the start of the video that I do not remember at all from my childhood. And in saying that, it is also easily the least played song on Spotify with 18 million plays, and the next lowest would be 28 million for Fight for All the Wrong Reasons. Okay, that drum roll into Chad's opening lyrics, it hit me immediately. I remember it. Someone that you're with. Okay, like, instrumentally, I actually really like this song. Like, I don't know, like, the music behind it, especially the chorus, goes really hard. I like the music behind it a lot. And lyrically, I think it's fine. Lyrically, it's kind of just inoffensive, to be honest. Like, there's nothing really wrong with it. It's just a guy talking about wanting to be with a girl, but can't be with the girl. Doesn't particularly do anything besides just wishing he was with the girl. But it also isn't like, oh, boo-hoo, like, oh, she's the love of my life, but I can't be with her. It's also not melodramatic in any way. So yeah, I don't know. Lyrically, it's inoffensive, which is something you won't hear anyone say very often about Nickelback. But I stand by that one. And musically, yeah, I like it quite a bit. I think the music in the chorus specifically just goes really hard, actually. In saying that, there's only like half the song then that I do like, being the instrumental, and I'm then indifferent towards the lyrics, so I guess I'll give it a 6 out of 10, to be honest. Put it same rating as Far Away. I probably like it a little bit more, but I would still... Yeah, I like it a little bit more than Far Away, but I don't want to give it the 6.5 I gave Side of a Bullet or If Everyone Cared. So yeah, that's fine. Then we move on to the closing track of the record, Rockstar, and it's the biggest song on the album. Everyone knows this song. Bands have made sea shanties out of this song, and while very amusing, the sea shanties, that is, I've never really liked this song, to be honest. Just short of 600 million plays. I don't know. The song's never really clicked with me. I've never really cared for it, but it is the final song on the record, and I gotta end the video, so we will listen to this song. Who knows? Maybe it'll win me over. Rockstar. You know, I don't know if this was the intention when writing this song, but this actually could work as a great negative light on the Rockstar life. Because, like, they have some lines here that could definitely be appealing. But then they also have things that... but they have a lot in here. Like, most of the song lyrically is things that are just negative about the Rockstar life, you know? And, like, yeah, you have like fame and money and blah 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 blah, which of course everyone would want, you know, to be able to like live a life not having to work. You could just focus on things you want to focus on and you're set. Like, there are obviously good things mixed in here, obviously, but there's also so much negative shit that can come with this. And yeah, I think this song, even if unintentionally, does kind of shine a good light on the negativity that comes with that life. And I don't hate it like I used to. It's fine. Again, I don't think it's great. Not by a long shot. It's nowhere near my favorite on the album. But I mean, I think genuinely at this point, I'm going to give this also a 6.5 out of 10. You know what? No, I'll be a little generous, and I'll give it the same rating as Photograph. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. That is it. I mean, that was Nickelback, All the Right Reasons, unscripted album review 20 years later for this album specifically, and it's an album that, like I said at the start of the video, I know very well. I've heard it so many times in full when I was a kid, but it had been a long time since I had heard it for sure. It's a record that is overhated for sure. It's not great, but like I said, it's definitely overhated. It's fine. Like, for it being like a post-grunge record, basically, a post-grunge record with some ballads on it, it's fine. It's not great. There are plenty of other albums that came out around the same time that are infinitely better. But yeah, it's fine. It generally has some good songs on here. And yeah. And you know, yeah, it has some songs as well that I think don't hold up very well. They're still very bad lyrically. There are some songs that are creepy as fuck. But there are songs, like I said, that are genuinely good. I think Photograph, even with all the memes, holds up pretty well. I still like Savin Me. Far Away is fine, if a bit boring. Next Contestant is an okay song with a surprisingly kind of well executed premise. Side of a Bullet, also a surprisingly well executed premise. If Everyone Cared is a fine song that's kind of inoffensive, but it's totally fine. Someone That You're With is also inoffensive lyrically. It's fine, but I really like it musically. And Rockstar, I do like a little bit more than when I was a kid. To quickly run through the ratings from top to bottom, I think personally my favorite song on the album is Savin' Me at a 7.5 out of 10. Followed by Photograph at a 7 out of 10, and then Rockstar also at a 7 out of 10. And then Rockstar also at a 7 out of 10, but I do prefer Photograph. And then we have Side of a Bullet at a 6.5 out of 10, tied with If Everyone Cared at a 6.5 out of 10. And then we have Someone That You're With at a 6 out of 10, and then Far Away at a 6 out of 10. And then we have Next Contestant at a 5.5 out of 10. We have Follow You Home and Fight for All the Wrong Reasons, both at a 5 out of 10. And we have Animals at a 4.5 out of 10, which is easily my least favorite on the entire record. But that was it. That was Nickelback's All the Right Reasons, 20 years later, in an unscripted album review format. Hope you enjoyed that. I definitely was a bit surprised. But I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like, comment down below, share it on social media, do all that good stuff, and until next time, I'll see you later. Bye, guys.